and welcome to this episode of my channel where I'll be taking up the lesson Reach for the Top Part 1. In this story, we are going to read the amazing life story of Santosh Yadav, the only woman in the world who had scaled Mount Everest twice. Now, she was born in a society where the birth of a girl child was considered a curse. Everybody wanted a son in their house. When her mother was expecting Santosh, a traveler, a holy man, who wanted to give her a blessing of having a son, was totally taken aback, was totally surprised. When Santosh's grandmother wished for a granddaughter, she said that she did not want a son. Imagine the surprise on the face of the holy man. Nevertheless, he gave the blessing, and as destiny had it, a girl was born in their family. Santosh was born the sixth child in a family with five sons, a sister to five brothers. She was born in a small village of Joniawaz of Rewari district in Haryana. Even though the girl's name was Santosh, which means contentment, she was never content with her traditional way of life. She began living her lives on her own terms. She discarded all the rules which were imposed on her. She preferred wearing shorts, where in her society all the girls were made to wear traditional Indian dresses. And looking back, she observes that she was very determined to do what was right, what was correct, and she was going to follow it. And eventually, others around her had to change, not her. This was her mindset. Now, Santosh's parents were rich landowners who could have easily sent their children to the best school, even to New Delhi, which was close by. But because they were also under the influence of the custom in the family, Santosh had to go to the local school because she was a girl. They did not send her to New Delhi for higher studies, even though they were rich. Why they did not send her? Because they were also under the influence of the tradition, the culture in their society. At the right moment, when the right moment came, now Santosh at that time kept quiet. She went to the local school. But the right time came for her to protest when she turned 16. At the age of 16, most of the girls in her village were getting married, but Santosh put her foot down. She told her parents firmly that she was not going to get married so soon. Marriage was the last thing on her mind, and she threatened her parents that she would never marry if she did not get proper education. She left home, got enrolled in a school in New Delhi, and when her parents refused to pay for her, Santosh threatened to pay her own fee. She would work, earn money, and pay her own school fee. Now, this was a kind of social insult for her parents to see their daughter working. So finally, they had to agree. Now, every time Santosh wanted to study more and more, more and more, and after she finished her high school examination in Delhi, she went to Jaipur, where she joined the Maharani College and got a room in Kasturba Hostel. Santosh remembered that the Kasturba hostel faced the Aravali hills, and from her window she used to see the villagers climbing up the hill and going on the other side. This inspired Santosh to go and check how were they climbing. And that is when she met a few mountaineers. She asked if she could join them, and to her pleasant surprise, they agreed, and that motivated her to continue or start climbing. From then onwards, there was no turning back for this determined girl. She saved money and she took admission in a course at Uttarkashi Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. And her college semester in Jaipur was to end in April, but it ended on the 19th of May, and she was supposed to go to Uttarkashi on the 21st. So even after her exams got over, which was a little delayed, she did not go home. Directly she went for the training, and later on she wrote an apology letter to her father, without whose permission she had got the admission. After that, Santosh went on expedition after expedition, and slowly her skills matured rapidly. She not only developed a resistance to cold and altitude, because as we go higher it is very cold and obviously the pressure decreases. She also developed determination, physical toughness and mental toughness, and she proved herself again and again. Finally, in the year 1992, which was just 4 years after she had started climbing, she was able to climb Mount Everest. She became the youngest woman then to achieve this. If she was physically fit, she was also a very concerned fellow climber. She used to always help her fellow climbers. During the 1992 Everest mission, Santosh Yadav provided special care to a climber who was dying at one point. Unfortunately, she could not save him. However, she was able to save another climber, Mohan Singh, who would have also died if she had not shared her oxygen. That was a very, very generous thing on her part. So within 12 months, Santosh found herself as a member of the Indo-Nepalese Women Expedition, which invited her to join them, and she scaled the Mount Everest twice. And she became a Guinness World Record for doing so. In recognition of her achievements, to give a tribute to her, the Indian government gave her the Padma Shri. And when she is asked to describe her feeling on the top of the world, she said that it took her some time to understand what a huge moment it was. She raised the Indian flag and held it high on the top of the world. The feeling was indescribable for her. It was also a very spiritual moment. She felt proud as an Indian. Also, she's a great enthusiastic environmentalist. She cares for the environment, and that is why when she was climbing down the Himalayas, she brought 500 kilograms of garbage down with her. Thank you.